Welcome to the Spitzen-Körper Thelema. We are opening the foundational text of 19th century Western esotericism, specifically, the introduction to Éliphas Lévi's Dogme et Ritual de la Haute Magie, published in 1856. Lévi, the pen name of Alphonse Louis Constant, a defrocked French Catholic priest turned occultist, did something unprecedented in this book. He synthesized medieval Kabbalah, Renaissance Neoplatonism, Christian theology, and ceremonial magic into a single coherent system, then claimed that system was not heretical, but the original science of Christianity itself. This passage establishes the entire argument that follows. It belongs to a lineage running from Pico della Mirandola through the English Rosicrucians to the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the lineage that claims magic and Christianity are not opposed, but historically entangled. What Lévi does here, in this introduction, is audacious. He rehabilitates figures the church had destroyed, the Knights Templar, the alchemists, the medieval magi, and presents their persecution not as justice, but as institutional self-preservation. The church, he argues, had to suppress magic because magic represents a decentralized, personal priesthood that threatens ecclesiastical monopoly on spiritual power. This is the intellectual skeleton of modern Western esotericism. The passage you are about to hear moves to historical argument into visionary performance. Lévi begins by praising the tarot as a universal key, a claim borrowed from William Postel, the Renaissance Kabbalist, and later echoed by Antoine Court de Jebouin. He positions the Kabbalah and the clavicles of Solomon as lost Christian sciences, not pagan intrusions, but the original language in which Christ himself was understood. He then performs a rhetorical magic trick. He acknowledges the church's need to suppress magic while simultaneously proving, through historical detail, that the greatest Christian mystics, Swedenborg, St. Martin, were themselves initiates into these same secret sciences. The argument is that suppression and denial do not erase knowledge, they only transform it into mystery. Finally, he moves into a hallucinatory tour of the medieval Sabbath, followed by the trial of Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Templars. This is theater masquerading as history, but it serves a purpose. By forcing the reader to witness these scenes, Lévi embeds a psychological truth, that what the church condemns must be either powerfully real or powerfully feared. Either way, power is present. Now, the text itself. Verbatim reading of excerpt, maintained exactly as provided, without running headers or footnote markers. The argument operating beneath this passage is deceptively simple. Magic existed as a coherent science. The church destroyed it not because it was false, but because it was true and threatened institutional power. This is Lévi's revolution. Medieval and Renaissance magic had been defended before, by Pico, by Agrippa himself, but always on the grounds that it was licit, that it worked through divine permission, that it was compatible with Christian doctrine. Lévi goes further. He argues that magic is the doctrine from which Christianity emerges. The tree of knowledge guarded by the cherubim is not a temptation to be avoided, but a science to be mastered. The Kabbalistic alphabet, the Hebrew letters with their corresponding powers, is not borrowed from Judaism, it is the substrate from which both Judaism and Christianity were constructed. What mutated into this position? The French occult revival of the 1840s and 1850s, the work of scholars like Joseph de Maistre and Louis Claude de Saint Martin, who had attempted to reconcile Enlightenment reason with traditional mysticism. But Lévi was the first to make this reconciliation systematic, to present it not as mystical intuition but as rational philosophy. The 7 powers of the Magus listed here, corresponding to the first 7 Sephiroth of the Kabbalistic tree, are not supernatural fantasies. They are, Lévi insists, developments of human potential latent in all consciousness. To know the deep things of souls, to command nature, to heal disease, these are not violations of natural law, but mastery of laws deeper than those recognized by academic science. This is where Lévi seats the modern occult movement. The Golden Dawn, which formally constituted itself in 1887, took these exact correspondences, the Hebrew letters, the tarot, the elemental system, directly from Lévi's synthesis. Blavatsky, Crowley, even the ceremonial magic practiced today, all trace back to this moment, this text, this argument that magic is not superstition but the science of consciousness itself. The final move in this introduction, and Levi performs it with the precision of a master rhetorician, is to seal the teaching. Those final lines, spoken by the Hebrew manuscript, asterisk certain things have been sealed by Solomon with his triple seal. It is enough that the initiates know, asterisk this is not confession. This is power. By admitting that some knowledge must remain hidden from the uninitiated, Levi accomplishes two things at once. He protects his teaching from institutional censure. This is esoteric, after all, meant only for those prepared to understand it. And he establishes a community of initiates, a reading public that understands itself as worthy of forbidden knowledge. This gesture structures Western esotericism to this day. Next, author Edward Waite, The Holy Kabbalah. The Spitzen-Körper Thelema. If this archive serves you, support it on Patreon. Link in the description.